Yes. Can anyone tell the meaning of this quote?
It tells us about the truth of society.
Yes.
Literature tells us about the truth of society.
Yes, very nice. So it's telling about the 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 truth of society to the society. So we are the society, and we are reflecting upon the truth of society. What is the truth? That the poor people have been living and they were not helped by anyone. But now all of the villagers are caring, have become caring and so concerned about them. So one man has come, and he is the wheelwright, Joe Thompson, the wheelwright. For a little while, the man stood with a puzzled air. Then he turned back and went into the hovel again. Maggie, with painful effort, has raised herself to an upright position and was sitting on the bed, straining her eyes upon the door, out of which all had just departed. A vague terror had come into her thin white face. "Oh, Mr. Thompson," she cried out, catching her suspended breath, "don't leave me here all alone." Though rough in exterior, Joe Thompson, the wheelwrighter, had a heart, and it was very tender in some places. He liked children and was pleased to have them come to his shop, where sleds and wagons were made or mended for the village lads without a draft on their hoarded sixpences. So here is a man who is a wheelwright, and he has come to help the third child of the woman, and he is Joe Thompson. Okay, so he is trying to help her. Although he is very rough in exterior, but he has a very kind, and he shows here her kindness, his kindness. So now, what happens? Have you read this story?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me what was the reaction of villagers after the death of the woman?
They were pitying the children
Yes.
because now they were all alone and no one was there to take care of them.
Yes. Now, what happened to Kate and John?
A farmer looking for them.
Yes.
A farmer looking for them.
To whom?
So,
John. It was John. And
Kate was taken by Mrs.
Alice. Okay, very nice. So, come to next. "No, dear," he answered in a kind voice, going to the bed and stooping down over the child. "You shan't be left here alone." Then he wrapped her with the gentleness almost of a woman in the clean bedclothes which some neighbor had brought, and lifting her in his strong arms. Mark these two words, strong arms. Bore her out into the air and across the field that lay behind the hovel and his home. So, what is the meaning of hovel here? Yes, Zebra? Hovel. Yes? Yes, very nice. Anyone?
A path that is made from between the fields.
No, it's not a path. A hovel. into the air, bore her out into the air and across the field that lay between the hovel and his home.
Hovel is where the kid was.
Their home, the children's home, was the hovel. That was broken and fallen down into a pile. Okay, so that is why that was hovel. It was named as hovel. So his strong arms, literally, these words are that physical strength. His physical, these words describing Joe Thompson's physical strength, but the emotional strength is also described here. That is metaphorically also that these words describing his emotional strength, emotional intelligence. All the villagers were not concerned about them, these children, but he took initiated that from his part, and he came with this child, Maggie. Okay. Now, Joe Thompson's wife, who happened to be childless, was not a woman of saintly temper, nor much given to self-denial for others' good. And Joe had well-grounded doubts touching the manner of greeting he should receive on his arrival. So he was confirmed that he was sure that he would be answerable to all these things. Mrs. Thompson saw him approaching from the window, and with ruffling feathers met him a few paces from the door as he opened the garden gate and came in. He bore a precious burden, and he felt it to be so. As his arms held the sick child to his breast, a spear of tenderness went out from her and penetrated his feelings. A bond had already corded itself around them both. Love was springing into life. So, what have you there? Sharply questioned Mrs. Thompson. So you must have read the box, okay? So we will discuss after the text. We will discuss the author's life, writer's life after the text, okay? So if you have read this box, there is the Mrs. Thompson is described as vinegar-tempered wife, Jane. So what does it mean by this?
She was short-tempered.
She was short-tempered. Yes, very nice. And he usually, yes, Gibran, do you want to say anything about vinegar tempered? Okay. So what does it mean by, what do you understand by this word? Yes. So she was very sour in temper, like vinegar. Vinegar has this quality that it can, if we put any a vinegar in our as an ingredient we use, and we put in an extent amount, so what happens? It's so harsh, okay? So it can cut our throat, or it can injure our internal parts, okay? So harsh words. She used harsh words and very, very bitter. Her language is very bitter, okay? That's why she is called here the vinegar-tempered woman. Joe felt the child start and shrink against him. He did not reply except by a look that was pleading and cautionary. So his expressions, focus on his expressions, that was pleading and cautionary, that said, wait a moment for explanations and be gentle. And passing in carried Maggie to the small chamber on the first floor and laid her on a bed. Then stepping back, he shut the door and stood face to face with his vinegar-tempered wife in the passageway outside. You haven't brought home that sick brat? Anger and astonishment were in the tones of Mrs. Joe Thompson. Here, her face was in a flame. I think women's hearts are sometimes very hard, said Joe. Usually, Joe Thompson got out of his wife's way or kept rigidly silent and non-combative when she fired upon any subject. It was with some surprise, therefore, that she now encountered a firmly set countenance and a resolute pair of eyes. Women's hearts are not half so hard as men's. So, unlike other persons, other people, like you must have heard of or seen that most of the people use their temper, and anger to suppress the other person. But Joe Thompson is not like that. He knows that his wife is short-tempered. That is why he has some thoughts, and he plans that he will tell little by little. He will tell her these things, the matter, and she will be okay after this. So that is why he will convince her. Joe saw by a quick intuition that his resolute bearing had impressed his wife. So it's working. And he answered quickly and with real indignation, be that as it may, now he has become serious. So with real indignation, be that as it may, every woman at the funeral turned her eyes steadily from the sick child's face, and when the cart went off with her dead mother, hurried away and left her alone in that old hut, with the sun not an hour in the sky. So, where were John and Kate? Asked Mrs. Thompson. Farmer Jones tossed John into his wagon and drove off. Katie went home with Mrs. Ellis, but nobody wanted the poor sick one. Send her to the poor house was the cry. So everyone was crying. Send Maggie to the poor house. So why they have chosen to take? Why the villagers chose the option that they took the elder child, both of the elder child, and left the third one.
Because the other two were in a good condition.
Yes, and what benefit they will get from them? Yes?
They can do their work.
They
could do their work.
Yes, they will help them in their work, in their farms and fields. And Mr. Ellis has also her plans. Like she will keep this girl, Kate, as her bound girl. Farmer Jones tossed John into his. What is the meaning of bound girl? Bound girl here. A servant. As a servant, she wants to keep Katie. Okay? Why didn't you let her go then? What did you bring her here for? She can't walk to the poor house, said Joe. Somebody's arms must carry her, and mine are strong enough for that task. Then why didn't you keep on? So she is still trying to deny his husband's her husband's decision. So she's trying to be free of this responsibility. Because I'm not apt to go on fool's errands, the guardians must be seen and a permit obtained. There was no gainsaying this. When will you see the guardians? Was asked with irrepressible impatience.